line from the book of Galatians this morning, Galatians 1. Galatians 1, starting at the 11th verse and the following. Hear now the word of the Lord from the New Revised Standard Version of God's holy and precious word. For I want you to know, brothers and sisters, that the gospel that was proclaimed by me is not of human origin. For I did not receive it from a human source, nor was I taught it, but I received it through a revelation of Jesus Christ. You have heard, no doubt, of my earlier life in Judaism. I was violently persecuting the church of God and was trying to destroy it. I advanced in Judaism beyond many among my people of the same age, for I was far more zealous for the traditions of my ancestors. But when God, who had set me apart before I was born, called me through his grace, was pleased to reveal his Son to me so I might proclaim him among the Gentiles, I did not confer with any human being. Nor did I go up to Jerusalem to those who were already apostles before me, but I went away at once into Arabia, and afterwards I returned to Damascus. Then after 3 years, I did go up to Jerusalem to visit Cephas and stayed with him 15 days. But I did not see any other apostle except James, the Lord's brother. In what I am writing to you before God, I do not lie. Then I went to the regions of Syria and Cilicia. I was still unknown by sight to the churches of Judea that are in Christ. They only heard it said, the one who formerly was persecuting us is now proclaiming the faith he once tried to destroy. And they glorified God because of me. This is the word of God for the people of God.
Praise be to God.
Pray with me. O Lord, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of all of our hearts be acceptable only in your sight. Lord, we pray that this word find good soil. The word produce a bumper crop, 30, 60, and even 100-fold, as we go out and be the church that you have called us to be. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I want to preach on this first Sunday in November of 2017 a message that I believe that at least two people need to hear. Amen. And everybody else can just eavesdrop. I'm just talking to the two people that really need to hear this word today. God is not through with me yet. God is not through with me yet. You know, the story of Paul is a fascinating one. It is fascinating because it tells of how someone who apparently had been on the wrong side of history and the wrong side of God somehow turned and found the right road. It tells the story of how kind, good, and patient the Lord is, and how the Lord can indeed use anyone the Lord sees fit to use. That one does not have to be in the in crowd, does not have to be at the meeting. One does not have to be even a member of the church. That does not eliminate one from the hands of God. Okay. Through the story of Paul, the good news this morning is that despite all to the contrary, God can still call and God can still use. Somebody should shout right now, because while we are here today, we haven't been all that. We haven't always been Bible toting and scripture quoting. We haven't always seen eye to eye with God and God's plan and purpose in our life. We haven't always walked the narrow road, many times opting for the wide road so we can be with all of our cool friends. We haven't always known God as we know God today. But one day, while we were minding our own business, God stopped by, whispered in our ears, and said, you are the beloved of God. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. I know the plans I have for you, plans for your welfare and not for harm, to give you a future with Him. In other words, you do not have to live as you have been living. You can stand on your own 2 feet and receive the promises of God. So at that moment, we saw the light and we turned from our way to seek the Lord forevermore. So that's why we like Paul. Because if God can turn around somebody like Paul, if God could stop Paul in his tracks and speak a word of life into him, if God could break through the stronghold that had Paul seeing sideways, if God could do all of that for Paul, surely God can do that for me. But if anyone that has ever traveled down that road of transformation will tell you, that road is not always easy. No. It is not easy because invariably transformation leads to separation. In other words, when you are on the road of transformation or to transformation, you can take some folk with you, well, you can't rather take some folk with you. It's not because you don't love them. It's not because you don't even want them to go. It's because they can't see what you see. They don't feel what you feel, and many times they can't hear what you hear. It's not a forced separation, mind you. It's a natural one. Because your interests and the interests of other folks you hang with are now a little bit different. Sometimes they are diametrically opposed to each other. But for the purposes of this sermon, the second thing that happens when you're on the road to transformation is that people invariably again question your authenticity. In short, people want to know if this change is real. And even after you have served for a while, they still want to know who you are. Or are you really? Are you really changed? Or are you just faking it? And this is what we have in our text this morning. Paul having to defend his ministry and reclaim who he is and what and why he is called. But why would somebody like Paul have to reiterate who he is and what he's called to do? Why would someone like Paul, where it's so obvious that he's called of God and called according to God's purposes, have to reestablish his position with the church that he helped build, that he shaped, and that he helped mold? Did they know who Paul is, and that he had what he had to go through just to preach the gospel? Why on earth are they questioning his authenticity? Maybe when we read the Bible, we forget two important lessons. First, the main characters, and indeed the overwhelming majority of the characters in the Bible, are profoundly human. And second, the people that they are interacting with in the stories are profoundly human as well. In short, these people we read about in the Bible, and the stories that are recorded in the Bible were written, shared, and done by humans. Humans, yes, inspired by God, but yes, humans nonetheless. And with humans, no matter what you have done in the past, no matter how deep your relationship with God, no matter how much you do, and no matter how long you do it, sometimes, and in some places, humans will question who you are and why you're doing what you're doing. For Paul, the church that he, again, helped shape and mold began, well, to, in his words, turn to another gospel. Apparently there was some in the community who started to challenge the teachings of Paul. And for Paul, this perverted version of the gospel would only lead to confusion. So he asked the church of Galatia to remain rather steadfast in the gospel that they first learned under him, and if anyone preaches another brand of gospel, please disregard. But apparently something else is happening to Paul's credibility. Paul was accused of seeking the approval of other humans. In short, Paul's opponents argued that he only preached this gospel the way he preached because he wanted to gain converts or to please, quote, itching ears of humans. Paul considered himself an apostle to the Gentiles, and in so doing, he argued that people were not bound to the tenets of the law, but now live under the grace of Jesus through the Spirit of God. However, now his teachings are even coming into question. Therefore, he offers this defense of his teachings, and in doing so, he also proved that he's not trying to please people, but please God. He starts off by saying that the gospel that he preached was not of human origin. but it was a revelation from Jesus Christ. Then he switches and again will amount to his testimony. How he violently persecuted the church, tried with all his might to destroy it, but he was zealous for the traditions of his ancestors. But when God revealed God's Son to him, he did not confer on any human. He didn't go up to Jerusalem, didn't get the approval of the apostles, but he went away to Arabia in the desert for 3 years. It was only then, after his sojourn in Arabia, that he went up to visit Cephas or Peter and stayed with him for about 15 days. While there, he did not see any apostles except James, the brother of Jesus. And if he had stopped for a moment, because he could feel the indignation swelling up inside of him. Because he wrote right behind that, I'm writing to you before God, I do not lie.
All right now.
But the question becomes, does anyone ever question your call? Have they ever questioned your motives? Why are you doing what you're doing? Has anybody ever questioned your relationship with God? Now sometimes we give them a right to question our relationship. Because many times what we do does not square up to who we profess to be in Christ. Many times we fall short of the mark. We don't live up to the higher calling. Many times we take the low road. Yeah, I get that. So yeah, many times we might slip up, in our calling. But what if you're doing what God calls you to do? What if you're listening to the Lord? And what if you are in God's will and yet you still get complaints? What if your faithfulness has not been appreciated? Have you ever loved somebody and that love has not been reciprocated? Have you ever poured into somebody only to realize that you are being drained and the person you're pouring into really could care less? Paul must have felt frustrated. And indeed, many commentaries on Galatians say as much. Paul was angry when he wrote this letter, because he had defended his positions and the gospel that he had preached and taught of all places, Galatia. Why are y'all questioning me now? You didn't question me when I was with you. You loved me when I was there face to face, when I was pouring into you. But as soon as I leave, some other person comes with a slippery tongue. Nice looking, fine, shapely, with a silver tongue. Somebody can tell you anything that you want to hear. And you forget all about me. Or forget about the person who poured all of that stuff into you. Paul is asking, why are you turning to another gospel? But if we got to be fair about this though. Paul's story is not without problems. I mean, come on. It's right here in the text. He called himself an apostle. But he never met Jesus in the flesh. He said that he received the gospel through what? Revelation. From Jesus Christ himself. With no teaching and no community of other humans present. He said that he was set apart from birth. Yet, he did all that persecuting, all of that hating on the followers of the way. I mean, when we examine this story, when we begin to see why it was so easy for them to pick apart what he done, we can see now why it was easy for other people to come and say, man, y'all listen to him.
All right now.
Y'all know what he was doing like a month ago, right? Before he showed up here.
All right.
You know, it wasn't a month, but you know how we like to exaggerate. You know, just yesterday he was drinking. And he was drunk down there at the club. And now he called himself preaching. Just last night, she was at the club. And now she in the choir singing like she holy. Now forget the fact that the preaching and the singing sounds like it's of God, from God, and you are moved by God. So soon as they leave, other people come, drop salt in the game. Well, you know, God, you know that, you know, he and his wife, they ain't really on the same terms. If he can't keep his household in order, how he gonna keep the church house in order? You know they children bad. And she gonna be over the children's ministry. I can hear some of Paul's opponents saying, I mean, come on, this brother Paul, well, he said he changed. But has he really?
Right.
Is he setting you up? You think he really had your best interests at heart? I mean, he was just killing folk just yesterday. Nah, it wasn't yesterday, but you know, we got it. And now he professes he loves you. I mean, where is this letter from Jerusalem? I need Peter or somebody need to write a letter for him so I can at least say somebody can vouch for him. But he said he ain't talking to nobody. He's just doing this on his own. At least Peter then walked with Jesus, talked with Jesus. I can take it from them, but this Paul did. Showing up out of nowhere, claiming that he met Jesus on the road of Damascus. And here's the truth of the matter. And we'll talk about it in depth Wednesday. Paul's opponents had good arguments. They did not lie. But what they missed was the transformation power of the Lord. You see, many of us have been pushed to the margin and left out in the cold. And while everybody has given up on us, while everybody else thought that we wasn't going to amount to anything, while everybody else talked bad about us and bad about you, while people left us for dead, God showed up and said, I am not through with you yet. Just like Paul, God had another plan. God had another way. God had a mission and purpose in Paul's life. God made a way out of no way. When everything seemed lost, God showed up and Paul was found. But the good news is that when you had your backs against the wall, when everybody else kicked you to the curb, when everybody else was stepping on you and over you, God and God's infinite wisdom said, baby, I'm not through with you yet. That's why you need to tell somebody, I'm still a work in progress. And God is not through with me yet. I may not get it right all the time, but God is not through with me yet. I might slip up and fall every now and then, but God is not through with me yet. I may still have my ups and downs, but God is not through with me yet. The same God who found me heading the wrong way is the same God who will take me to the next level, because God is not through with me yet. But it doesn't stop there. Even though some of the people questioned his call, even though some of the people did not support what he said or did, the good news this morning, look at the text, the good news this morning is that some people did not question his call. Some people appreciated what he had to offer. For you see, when he went to Syria and Cilicia, even though he was unknown by the churches there, when they learned of his story and heard what he had to say, the text says that they glorified God because of him. In other words, they got their praise on because of his testimony on the goodness of God and what God had already done through him. And I just stopped by to tell somebody that while there may be some folk hating on you, while there may be some people questioning your motives, While people are wondering if you're authentic or not. While some people are just leaving you behind. There are some folks who will appreciate what you bring to the table. There are some people that will support your ministry. There are some people who will pray with you, lift you up, and support you along the way. There are some people who will appreciate your teaching and your service. There are some people who will even praise God for what God is doing in your life. So I just came to remind them two people to just keep on pressing on. Keep on doing what God has called you to do. Don't you let a naysayer or haters get you down. Just keep plowing through. I know it gets tough sometimes, but keep on pressing on. I know you feel like throwing in the towel. Keep on pressing on. I know folks are questioning your motives. Keep on climbing up. I know folks still look at you funny. Just look back at them funny and say, God ain't through with me yet. Because when you go on anyhow, God will send some folk who will love you. God will send some folk who love what you do. God will send some folk who will love on you, pray with you, walk with you, talk with you, and just be glad that you are in your place. When you press on, you find out that you've been a blessing to somebody. When you press on, people will appreciate your gifts, want to help you out, who would just say, baby, I don't know what's going on in your life, but God told me just to give you a little something, just hoping that you can make it through. When you move on, when you don't give up, people will hear your story. Your story. Your story. And guess what? They'll praise God because of you. Why are you praising the Lord like that? Because I heard her story. And if the same God that worked in her life will work in my life like that, I know a blessing is right around the corner. Because when you can do that, you reached another level in your spiritual walk. And nobody will have to tell you to do anything for the Lord, because it will already be a part of your life, your spirit, and who you are. Let the church say.